Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Jamie Hughes Show. My name as always is Jamie Hughes and welcome to Halloween week day 2, and today I'm going to be giving you my review of Happy Death Day. Now if you want to keep up to date with all my latest movie news and reviews, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and as always with my videos, this review may include spoilers, so you have now been warned. So Happy Death Day is actually a really fun horror movie. I wouldn't actually say it was a horror film per se, but I don't think there's really any other genre you can kind of put it in there with. It's a very light horror film. There's not really that many scares in it. There's a couple of jump scares, but that didn't really take away from my actual overall enjoyment of this movie. It's essentially Groundhog Day if Groundhog Day was a horror. They even make that joke like in the movie, and that's what I did like about this movie, is that it was kind of very self-aware with what it was doing. It didn't really take itself too seriously, and it was actually kind of fun in places. One of my favourite bits of the whole film actually is like literally this girl Teresa who just keeps on dying. There is like a montage of deaths with like some really happy pop music over the top, like she's getting stabbed and it's like everything is awesome, she gets stabbed in the head again, everything is cool when you're part of a team, and then she gets killed again. And it was just really genuinely quite fun, and it was something different and quite interesting, and yeah, I really rather enjoyed it. Another really cool thing about this movie is the actual design of the killer itself. I don't think it has a name, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to call it Babyface. It was a really cool mask, and I think there is legs in that design. I'm not sure how you work around that, because obviously we do get a definitive answer to who the killer is in this movie, but I think there is scope to expand on, you know, the Babyface killer universe, but I'm not sure how you would actually work that out. That's for the guys at Blumhouse to work out. But yeah, it's just a really cool thing when you can actually feel a little bit scared of the killer. As I said, this isn't really a scary film within a sense, but you know, there's really something unnerving about that baby mask, and they executed that really well, where they just have the guy stood there and they just have like a little slow zoom on the mask while the guy's just standing there with a vacant look on his face. I also really like the actual character development of Teresa in this movie, because she starts off, oh my god, and she is like a total bitch, like she just doesn't care about anybody, and then it actually ends this movie with her realising how much of a bitch she's been, and it was kind of actually a really nice progression, because I started off like hating this character for how much of just a bitch she was, and by the end of it, I was actually really glad, you know, that she kind of gets her happy ending within a sense, and it was just really, it was quite a nice little sweet ending. As I say, it's not really a horror, this movie. It's more of like a rom-com teen drama with just a slasher thrown in, and as I said, it is self-aware that it's doing that. It's not trying to be too scary. Like, they literally even make a joke about what the whole film has been about right at the end of the film. So yeah, you just can't take it too seriously. But as I say, it was really nice that we did get a little bit of character progression with Teresa, because like it was really hard to like her in the beginning. Right, this next little bit is going to come with a huge spoiler warning, because it's kind of something I want to talk about, because I'm not sure how I actually felt about it, but this is a huge spoiler for this movie. So if you definitely haven't seen Happy Death Day, like maybe skip this bit, because I'm going to be talking huge spoilers here. So basically at the end of this movie there is a twist, and it turns out the killer who we thought was the killer isn't actually the killer. It's Teresa's roommate who is the killer, and I kind of loved and hated this twist at the same time. I think the movie deserved a twist, because having it just be a random serial killer who we don't really have any sort of story about, who is just literally there to be a serial killer, didn't, like, it worked because we got some sort of closure, but at the same time it didn't, because like at the end of the day, like, we don't really care about this character, we don't know who he is. So although we did get a resolution with him, it was like, okay, there needs to be something more, I think, and we did get that in the form of Teresa's roommate being the killer, but it just felt a little bit flat. It just felt really weird that the fact that, you know, this girl was there but wasn't really there, and it was cool that she wasn't really a suspect. Like, I didn't really think it was going to be her all the way through the movie. So to see that it was her was a really cool thing. It was just the actual execution of why she wanted to kill Teresa, because she was having sex with a guy that she was having sex with, and literally, like, they put it down to the fact that this girl wants Teresa dead for the fact that she is a dumb bitch. It just kind of, the wheels just fell off. It just felt like they lacked that real cool delivery of something that could have been really cool and elevated this movie to another level, but it just kind of felt a little bit flat. Like I said, I know this movie was self-aware and it did make fun of itself in points, but the fact that they just didn't have that literal killer instinct right at the end of the movie just dropped it down a little bit for me, for my overall enjoyment, because, you know, you could have had a really cool twist and they just kind of missed the mark on that one. But that doesn't actually take away from my overall, well, it did a little bit, but, you know, overall I actually really enjoyed this film. It's something very different, which I liked. You know, they took a risk with something. Some bits really worked well, some bits didn't. But overall, it's a really fun movie, and I really suggest you do go and see it if you're not a fan of horror films per se, because, as I say, it's not really that scary. It's just kind of a little fun thriller, I guess. But yeah, really actually enjoyed this one. Just the ending let it down a little bit. So if you guys have seen Happy Death Day, let me know what you thought about it, as always, down in those comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, why not subscribe, because you'll be helping me out massively, and you can keep up to date with all the latest movie news and reviews. I want to give it a like as well, just because it lets me know that you are enjoying Halloween week. And join me tomorrow for another Halloween spooky video. I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra.